What's up, Mr. God? I know it's been forever since I reacted video. I've been taking a break. Yeah. Uh, doing react videos on the main channel. I'm still physically a good reacts back up. What put all these react videos up, but this is back on missing the Showcase series. I just watched a new episode, or actually the new Mr. Showcase episode. Yesterday, I did Google Business Channel. Leave a link to that. To my reaction stream I did last night for Mr. Showcase episode 8 in the description below. Yeah, and that was traumatizing. Yeah. I have lots of thoughts on it, and I have seen I've seen Douglas reacted to it, I've seen I did Case reacted to it. And I watched them all react outside it. I became it's a series. Because it's like I want to get some shit, but get into PMCA series on this. But the beginning of the episode, like no such thing, it was like a red dot and a blue dot. But I think say some comments, it was only a dog video or my case video. But makes it so it's 8. I think the red dot was supposed to represent Kane, and then the blue dot was supposed to represent Bubba, which I didn't put together. But it goes to the story in the Bible about Cain and Abel, you know. And then even there's a point episode where Cain calls himself God. So, plus it's even another point episode that looks like the last episode scene. Because what we had in the final scene in episode 1 looks exactly like the Last Supper, which that's kind of typical saying. So yeah, it's kind of hard to done now. Like the scene that's made Cain and Abel, you know. And like Cain is actually more. So the red dot is supposed to Cain, and then the blue dot is supposed to Abel, you know. And I believe it's on the Bible. Correct me if but Abel. But was it Cain that killed Abel? I thought it was, no. Or was it? Because if the red dot was like, I don't know. I might go back on my Bible stuff because I don't remember which one it was. Because at the episode 8, we see the red dot like Cain, and the blue dot is Abel, you know, a bubble, Abel. So, but that's true with the, okay, because I'm not about my Bible teas. But yeah, I do like that series. And what we Cassie did, that's what flashback really long was telling me like good like minutes was beginning of the episode was just a flashback. So yeah. But last episode was amazing, and I don't know because Kane is now dead. Because freaking King Glass accidentally killed him when he made just like put him to sleep. So Kane is now dead. So the wood it's just gonna fall apart now. Like I'm still thinking what I said at the end of my reaction I did yesterday episode that I was told on the next episode because like real human kills so the human like the real human voice out voices that voice like Pomni, Tax, like a Kofax. So yeah, but for sure next episode they're gonna leave the game and then we are gonna see the real human voice actors of like characters. So yeah. It's been good enough to series, so yeah. But now now we're talking going into film series. You are trapped in the Amazing Circus. Like what? So I think it's Swift had a Circus series is my last film series reaction on his channel piece, so or maybe we had I don't know. Kind that point out now the Circus series. So yeah, let's get into it. Let me turn it up. I was gonna leave.
The Amazing Digital Circus. And
I hear anything. Oh, fine turn. Oh, I bet I have side muted. Hold on. Yeah, I don't know why I have side muted. Weird.
You are trapped in the Amazing Digital Circus. And I am too. All of us theorists are falling into the same trap as this cast, and there is no escape from the Amazing Digital Circus. So let's talk about it. Hello, Internet! Welcome to Film Theory, the show that either tells the truth or lies.
I'm the one that tells lies.
Dude, and that was a weird point.
Hey, gang, a new episode of the Amazing Digital Circus just dropped, so, you know, I wanted to hop back into that world again. But, well, we're taking a bit of a swing here. Not because I necessarily think that this theory is wrong or anything like that, but because this is coming out the very same weekend as a brand new episode of the show. Generally, it takes us 2 weeks to actually make one of these theories, one to research and write it, and one to edit it, so this video won't be addressing anything in episode 8.
Oh, dang it, because they don't know anything about episode 8. Because I was like, wait, they haven't done any episode on the CT Live channel yet. So dang it, so this is just going to be time about episode 7. Okay, so I'm pretty sure then, this is going to be a multi-part series then. When we see y'all are gonna get 2 film series back to back, probably. So y'all probably gonna get another film series reaction next week. Then, because takes in 2 weeks, so it'll next to go to Tuesday now, which will be I think April 6th. So yeah, so you'll get a film series reaction channel on March 29th on April 6th, right? Yeah, I think it's April 5th. I don't know if I'm wrong that. I don't know.
Beyond what's in the trailer. But even then, well, episode 7 gave us a lot to talk about. See, doing theories about the amazing...
Okay, so I'm going to see if episode 8 confirms, so deny some of this stuff about this episode.
Digital Circus has always been a strange experience for me. I mean, just look at one of our videos last year where I talked about how we were just wrong about the series. But recently, it's been even more challenging because of the events of episode 7. Yeah, in case you need a refresher, this episode has the cast meet up with a secret cast member who's been lurking in the background of several episodes, a mannequin named Abel. He claims that he's a human who was given an NPC's appearance and therefore has been overlooked by Kane, and that he's been able to sneak around in the background because of it. He explains that he and Kinger were the ones that invented the digital circus together at a company called...
So we watched that episode 7, but Kinger did confirm say that he was, partially created Kane, so So they would probably create the other half.
CNA, and then leads the cast on a quest to escape the circus. And I mean, hey, that sounds great. That confirms some of our theories, right? However, at the end of the episode, Jax foils the plot and forces everyone to stay in the circus. But then Kane appears and explains that actually none of what we just watched was even real. There was no Abel. Kinger's past is still a mystery, and the escape was a lie. It was all just an adventure that Kane cooked up because he knew the cast wanted out of the circus, and this was his best shot to give them what they wanted.
You mean this was all...
An adventure! Yes! And one I've been cooking up for a good long while!
We'd previously speculated that theorists weren't going to be quote-unquote...
I'm just about to go Columbus and have an ad, sorry.
I can't see your screen from here anymore.
Incoming dishes!
It's fine, it's at 6
99% of grease in half the time. The better grease getter.
Alright.
Happy with episode 7 because it was going to be shutting down a lot of the things that the community was putting together about.
The first one on top left can go develop circus that got go from episode 8. Cable, I think I from 2 episode 8. And yeah.
About escaping the circus. And, well, we were right there. Heck, this episode even went out of its way to poke some good-hearted fun at the whole religious angle we pointed out when the show first aired and now forever lives on in Matt Pat's out-of-context compilations. To be honest, I've been stuck thinking about this and how exactly to approach the show now. I mean, I really like the series and want to continue talking about it. But, the Amazing Digital Circus really does seem to go out of its way to laugh in the face of videos that explain how one small detail reveals everything. What do you do to work with that as a theorist? And, well, the more I've thought about it, the more I've dug deep to figure this show out, the more I realized that we are just as trapped as the cast here in the Amazing Digital Circus. Me, you, every theorist out there, we are trapped by our ideas, and even then, despite all of that, if we look at 3 pieces of inspirations that we know influenced the Amazing Digital Circus, and one that I'm pretty sure did...
First inspiration was Bible. Second one, I just probably came up with on my reaction last night on Deuces Club, because I still think with this, this series has been 100% inspired by Deuces Club. If y'all don't know what that game is, again, go watch. I said my reaction did yesterday. Go watch some guys play through Douglas Clark, and he plays with the best of the voice he does. Anyways, basically it's about this it's basically a game where you're trapped in a school. Basically. I don't know but mine basically the same. Manga, but Kane is basically manga is a waiting for Kane, basically, guys. They both like to the 12 characters, But what's interesting is if wait, hold on a minute. If this is gets by the card, there's a point in game where you can delete Monica's character file. And since Kane is I think it's erased for Monica, King just erased Kane, and we made a someone became a new Kane. Is this going to become a new Kane in the next episode? Because after deleting Monica in the Douglas Club, someone else became Monica, so they were Monica. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and say like a crazy theory here. I think the next episode of Mr. Focus, the Grand Finale episode 9, I think someone's gonna take the replacement of Kane. I think that person will possibly be Tax. Because Tax always been a mean one. So I think Tax is gonna become the new Kane. Ooh, okay, hopefully that doesn't happen. But I mean, again, those two clubs, it's basically the theory. What's after the Monica purifies, when else we can do Monica, so I hope that does happen. I hope we have a new Kane in the next episode.
We can use those clues to figure out where this story is going. And spoiler alert, I think the answer has been staring us in the face the entire time. We've mentioned this before, but there is no escape from the amazing digital circus. Kane and his
comedy basically said skip up, like leaving up on leaving, like let's quit leaving. So yeah,
AI are going to torture these characters until the end of time, and that's the point. But you know what? That may still be the best thing for this show and its ending. So transform into your circus sonas, friends, as we once again venture into the amazing digital circus. So what are the 3 influences I mentioned earlier? Well, first up, let's talk about I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream.
I don't know what that is.
We've talked about this story very briefly before in a previous digital circus theory, but in case you need a refresher, or, you weren't forced to read this one in school, I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream is a short story written by Harlan Ellison. It's set in a world where the Cold War escalated into World War III and then destroyed the planet. We wouldn't know anything about that, would we? Every country created their own supercomputers called Allied Master Computers, or AM for short. However, the computers eventually merge and gain true artificial intelligence, destroying humanity except for 5 individuals it keeps alive for its own amusement, forcing them to go on adventures that have no real point.
I get this right now.
Doesn't that sound familiar? Anyway, the story is pretty short, and you can actually listen to the audiobook narrated by the author himself right here on YouTube. It's definitely worth the listen. I Have No Mouth is an incredibly influential story and spawned its own video game, and it's pretty well known that Gooseworks was inspired by the story for the Amazing Digital Circus. And I mean, yeah, just on the surface, that's pretty clear. But
I mean, I don't know why I'm saying there's a point, that's what the song I say, but it's a point in that song where Kane literally moves him out to other characters and makes sure they cannot scream. So that 100% confirms that this series was inspired by I Have No Mouth Must Scream. Oh, you gotta have the H. Oh, that's 100% confirmed. Looking at that lyric and that scene in episode 8 where Kane moves all the mouths like characters so they cannot scream. And the mouth cannot scream. I think this works. 100% confirmed. 100% confirmed that guy's probably that book. That's video game.
If you dig into the story and what actually happens in it, you'll find a lot about where the digital circus story might be going, especially for its characters. For instance, check out this quote from the short story. But even though we could call Am any damned thing we liked, could think the foulest thoughts of fused memory banks and corroded base plates, of burnt out circuits and shattered control bubbles, the machine would not tolerate our trying to escape. The human characters could think anything they wanted to about Am, but the moment they tried to actually leave him, they were punished. Now, this isn't quite the case in the Amazing Digital Circus yet, but given how much Kane seems to be devolving, it could very easily become the case down the line if he starts going more insane, right?
We'll see that episode. Remember, this came out, this was before episode 8 released, before they watched it. So, with Kane going crazy, they're punishing him for leaving. So this is 100% confirmed after that episode. This series 100% confirmed. There's since we're wasting time about. It's 100%. It's like 10 billion% confirmed.
There seems to just be a terrible communication gap between Kane and the cast, because communication is difficult, even in the Amazing Digital Circus. But it wouldn't be with the partner for today's theory.
I still seen the ad coming. Gosh dang it. Is that still off ad?
But if you're like Kane and you're...
Yeah. Sorry, let me... Too long at. There we go. Sorry.
only similarity. The personalities of all the characters within I Have No Mouth have been altered, either amplified into something terrible or changed in ways that conflict with the soul of the character. One was once handsome and intelligent, but now looks like a giant monkey and has been driven insane. Another was once peaceful and idealistic and was changed to be bored and apathetic. A third had his name stripped from him and is traumatized frequently. A fourth has been abused and programmed to enjoy it. And the narrator? Well, he believes that he hasn't been altered by Am, despite Am making him far more introverted and paranoid. Ironically, this makes him believe that the others hate him for not being changed despite truly having been. And as you can imagine, all of these are just terrible fates. Now, obviously, this isn't exactly what happens to the characters in the digital circus. Like, their bodies seem to take on characteristics of their personalities already, which then amplify those personalities even further. We talked about this in depth before in our character studies, but just some top-level examples. Well, Zubul feels very uncomfortable in their bodies, so their design is very plug-and-play with different arms and legs and whatnot, so they can try to find something better. Gangolb seems to go back and forth wildly between being happy and sad, so they use the comedy and tragedy masks to show how they're feeling. We don't need to go through everybody, you get the idea. That being said, we also know that Cain can tweak their personalities.
Let's skip this one, and also make Jax a vegan for the rest of the day.
You can't do that.
But he insists that these aren't permanent.
I may have the ability to add temporary modifiers to make adventures more interesting, but that's it. If I did anything more, trust me, it would not end well.
Scratch the first abstraction.
Did you hear that? Kinger is remembering somebody.
Talk about Scratch episode 8. I'm so with everything up to 8 came out, man. Oh, this is so annoying. I mean, I'm glad that we did not, but why couldn't they just wait to forget, like, you know, like next week? And they can just talk about something different this week, man, because, like, so much of this discussed, before I said, I can't go bring the pebble, like, Craig Kane, like, the freaking space for the book, My Mouth Can I Scream. Now, this, about Scott, like, can't have it there. My phone good, power sounds terrible. Why is it not just on my mic? There we go, sorry. But why? Because yeah, King of Time about Scratch in episode 8. And Toxic is like upset about some shot because this is the was so shocking. And when King of Time about Scratch in episode 8, like talking about like how like a tumor, like I'm trying to make something with I hope we get more face on Scratch and on episode 9. And this was like to be just like a muffin, so maybe Scratch was like bubble, maybe. But I don't see how. Because he had a tumor on his head. Have you seen any characters that like really have like tumors on their head or something? Like, and then Tyler gets upset for some reason. Like, what's like, so I was like really close friends with like Scratch or something. Like, I don't know. I just hope they'll face our Scotch on the next episode because why did Task get upset when King on missing Scratch? Did like I don't see that Tax made Scratch abstract, but because maybe the reason I was abstract was because of guilt, maybe. I don't know. For now, to play my way, Tax made Scratch abstract. The reason I was abstract in the last episode because when King of misses Scratch because I think guilt, maybe. I don't know, man. Ugh.
Named Scratch, the first person who ever abstracted because Cain changed his personality too much. Here, Cain claims that he doesn't do this that much anymore, but, well, what if he's wrong? If he doesn't remember? Or what if he's just straight up lying? Next, both of these AIs throw these characters into wild goose chases. The plot of the I Have No Mouth short story is all about these characters looking for some relief, to find some canned food to cure their endless hunger in caves far away. And to get there, they start a massive journey to go look for it without any real evidence that there's even any canned food at the end of the road. That sounds a lot like what happens in Digital Circus episode 7, where the cast latch on to even the slightest highest chance that there's an escape from their digital prison without any guarantee that there's any chance
Yeah,
it could
I guess.
work. And both
know.
I Have No Mouth and episode 7 end similarly. When the cast of I Have No Mouth eventually do find the canned food after a dangerous, treacherous, torturous journey, they realize that they can't open any of the cans and put them on this adventure without any way to actually finish it. Similarly, the cast of the digital circus try to escape before realizing that it was all just another game that Kane set up and that there's no actual way out. The motivations for Am and Kane are very different in these situations. Kane was trying to fulfill a fantasy for the cast while Am was just trying to inflict pain. But that outcome is still awfully similar. And if we apply that to the future of this series, well, I could see Kane once again trying to pull what the cast want to happen as a wild goose chase, torturing them with things that they want just out of reach, but in a way that just makes everything
dead now, so
worse. Again, this has been written and recorded before episode 8 was released, but based on the trailer we see, we might get a hint that he's going to be doing this with former members of the cast, characters that have already abstracted. We can briefly see Queenie appear in the scene with Tina, and it looks like Jax is holding a coffee cup identical to one
was... you know, Matt, what game's playing all freaking week, man? Because now you're gonna get hated on. For saying, oh, you were wrong, you know, because this week was 8. I think I'm gonna restate it one more time. If y'all leave any hate comments on the stream safe video, just know they recorded this before episode 8 released. But it's on episode 8. So they don't know anything. They don't know that yeah. Please leave any hate comments video, please, on the freaking film safe video. Because it doesn't have time for that. Those hate comments. I mean, I'm sure they waited a week, man, because now they think that they sound so dumb. But for the cherry reaction, because the full scene is progressing. Now, this scene was when Tyler seen Hot Chocolate. Oh, what? We didn't see this picture of the episode, I don't think. That picture must have been edited, because that wasn't in the trailer, but that wasn't in the actual episode. So weird.
In a photograph with Ribbit and Kaufmo. And look, it seems like Ribbit's shadow can be seen in the corner of...
It's not, that wasn't even in character, I think. Oh my.
This
okay, that's maybe upset.
So
that's
it looks like the story is going to bring in.
Wait, like what? I guess I'm based on freaking setup. Like what film series? That was the biggest stretch I've ever done.
Their visions or flashbacks to these abstracted characters, or Kane is going to somehow resurrect them for either the next adventure or in some twisted attempt to make the rest of the cast
no. I'm glad he's so positive here, y'all. Y'all don't even know. Like, why can't they know freaking we can talk about like freaking anything else but this? Y'all don't freaking know about me feels on Kale. I'm actually upset. No, I'm actually upset that they didn't wait enough freaking week to release this. Y'all can wait another week because y'all get to with those shadows. This is the dumbest film story episode. I'm sorry, I followed it, but now it's going stupid. I was trying to be positive, but no, because they can't wait enough freaking week. I'm sorry, I'll be positive again. But whatever, this is fine. The probably makes this look at film series next week, and that basically brief everything. Apart from that, it's been waiting. But since I got the trailer, will be disproven.
Them love him, even though this would do the opposite. Either way, the main thing we can learn from this inspiration, from how I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream handles the characters that its AI is torturing, whether it's coming from a place of just wanting to make the cast happy or a secret urge to hurt them, Kane will keep dangling what the cast want in front of their faces, but he can never really give it to them. He can't offer them a way out or bring their friends back. There is no escape. And, well, that might not just apply to the cast, but for anything and everything in the circus. What do I mean by that? Why do I say it? Well, it's all because of the second piece of inspiration here, the 1998 film, The Truman Show. If you've never seen The Truman...
This one y'all said. I saw comments I tell you there was some Truman Show references. No, this is... Well, top of that, because this is a tick here if y'all don't know my background. Right now, I'm posting myself. I put background is Tatoxi and Tim Carey's in Tatoxi, but this is the only Tim Carey we've got here. You know, let's see, The Mask, of course, Grinch, Tato 1, 2, 3, all those movies been in. But this is the only like 10K movie I haven't seen. Not this one and Liar. So yeah. I say Dumb and Dumber too. Both 1 and 2. So yeah. There's still almost 10K movies I'm gonna see. I will probably react to this movie, the 10K movies I've seen, and 15 on my cool business Patreon. So yeah.
Show, well, you absolutely should go watch it. It's a classic and one of the best performances of Jim Carrey's career. But the long and short of the plot, the movie follows Truman Burbank, a guy who's the star of the most popular reality TV series on the planet. Every waking moment of his life is recorded and broadcast for the world to see, and everything is part of the show. His friends, his job, even his wife. In fact, he straight up lives in a massive television set where everything and anything can be controlled. The lights, the day, the weather. But the twist? Truman doesn't know he's in a reality show. He's been raised since birth thinking that this is just his life. And the producers of the show do everything to keep the illusion alive for Truman to make the best show possible. Now, obviously, a lot of these ideas already line up with the digital circus. Everything in both series is constructed by the producers or by Kane. Everyone is watched all the time. Events are manipulated for the betterment of the show, and in a lot of cases, a lot is done to keep the secret or mystique of the storyline going. But, of course, by the end of the film, Truman realizes what's going on, and in one of the most memorable moments from cinema, he says,
"In case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night,"
before disappearing through a door at the edge of the set. The visual of this shot is iconic and was actually recreated for the thumbnail for the trailer for episode 8, Kane taking the place of Truman. Clearly, they want us to associate...
Okay, yeah, I agree with y'all. See, it doesn't mean to agree with y'all, but I agree with y'all. But I don't agree with y'all, I'll just, no, I'll stop talking.
These moments, how the cast of the digital circus are basically Truman in this situation. But what's interesting, though, is that the person in place of Truman here in this thumbnail image isn't one of the cast members. Someone who is being toyed with or observed all the time. You know, someone like Pomni, who you think would be a perfect stand-in here. No, instead, it's Kane. Which then begs the question, is Kane actually the stand-in for Truman here? Are we supposed to sympathize with Kane? And the answer to that question isn't clear-cut. I mean, this is a complex situation. Obviously, Kane is an AI and not in the cool, helpful tool sort of way. He's generating these experiences from regurgitated ideas, like the slop an AI art program would spit out. And he has no real understanding of what it means to be human and alive. You know, thus why he then unintentionally tortures the cast. But also, like, he didn't choose to be alive. He was created. He's also trapped here in the circus in a way. And taking the real world conversation about generative AI out of this show in this situation, I mean, I feel for Kane. He needs people to enjoy his adventures, his creation. He is trying to get the cast to talk to him, trying to interact with them, and yet they want nothing to do with him. He creates all of these things that he thinks are awesome for them, and they don't like any of his ideas. They just want something that he cannot give them. Honestly, in a lot of ways, he feels like a stand-in for an artist. Well, at least one here on the internet. So based on those two pieces of inspiration, there's no escape for the cast, and there's no escape for Kane and his crew either. But what about the world, the digital circus itself? Well, to get some answers there, we can look at influence number 3, a video game called The Stanley Parable. If you don't know, this was...
I was talking about the freaking Tokyo Club. I was so moved about the freaking Tokyo Club. Come on, really? Come on! Again, this is what I'm saying about the Tokyo Club. The Tokyo Club then freaking down Stanley Parable. What? Can't freaking stand for my... Come on, really? I'll make it for that. The first freaking reactions I did, I think it was like 10 seconds I did on the Club reaction was to a Tokyo Club series on the Game Series channel. So, what? How can I say? Because I'm saying about Tokyo Club. I'm saying the wrong and the unright because Kane is 100% by Monica. 100%. Kane is doing the free station Monica did for Tokyo Club with like the AI, the killer tools. Huh? Yeah, making me upset, film series. Film series like a long while. Oh my goodness. Well, this is my long film series reaction. Why? It's probably at 20 minutes. But yeah, like and subscribe. All right, let's continue. We'll have some minutes left.
It's a game about an office worker named Stanley.
All right, but hear him out, though. I hear him out. This is also another game that Guy played. So,
who finds himself alone in his empty workplace. A narrator begins describing what Stanley is then supposed to do, guiding him through the building. But Stanley doesn't have to follow the instructions. I mean, you as the player can, or you can disobey. Every decision leads to a wildly different outcome where Stanley might escape, die, shut down the game, or seemingly break the story itself. And here's the thing. Gooseworks has said that the Stanley Parable influenced a lot of how she does things, and I mean, that's pretty cool.
I said, the Stanley Parable, and Gooseworks has said, God dang it! So that's confirmation. But I wonder if they'll go to the club. I wonder if somebody asked Gooseworks if they'll go to the club reference. I was like, Kane is like, got fired by Monica from Doki Doki. Now, that would be an interesting question. I know somebody has asked. Here's what I want us to do. If nobody has asked this question yet, I want y'all to go ask Gooseworks for me. This for me, okay? So I don't have to. I want y'all to go ask Gooseworks if Kane, the killer Kane, got fired by Monica for Doku Doku's Club. And Gooseworks says yes, then my theory is kind of right. So that's what I want y'all to do. I want y'all to, well, firstly, go watch them. That'll be actually my reaction. I did yesterday on the Grab Shout to Mason Circus Day. After that, go ask Gooseworks if Kane's character got fired by Mon's character for Doku Doku's Club. Right, that's but y'all two things y'all gotta do for me, okay? And then first thing, of course, after that is like and subscribe. So you gotta see the first things. Go ahead and listen to my reaction I did yesterday on my Grab Business channel to Mason's This Look at 8. Go ask Gooseworks if they got up on Kane's character. Was found by Monica's character from Doku Doku's Club. And then like the video, like this video, and then subscribe to my channel. And then y'all be good. Now we're gonna finish this long video finally. But of course y'all can do the first things after y'all done watching this video. Alright. Thank you.
Right? Just visually, if you're looking at footage from the game, you can probably already tell that it looks very similar to the quote-unquote real world we see in the Amazing Digital Circus. And from a thematic point of view, well, no matter what, Stanley can't actually win in the Stanley Parable. The game is all about the illusion of choice. And if you disobey the narrator, that has already been written in as an option. Every path leads back to the same loop, more or less starting the game over. And in some cases, it might even reset or crash the game. That, loyal theorists, is also the end game here in the Digital Circus. This is a story where there almost certainly won't be a happy ending. And in a way, everything loops. One character abstracts, and then another's gonna come into the circus over and over and over. Pomni is just the most recent incarnation of this, and it seems as though Kane and the circus and all of the NPCs have accounted for anything and everything the cast want to do. Alright, so as a quick recap here, the cast are trapped just like I Have No Mouth. Kane is trapped just like the Truman Show, and the circus itself is sort of a looped trap based on the Stanley Parable. Now, obviously, something can be inspired by a work and not take every single theme from it. And again, I have to stress that this was written and recorded before episode 8 came out. But that's a lot of signs pointing towards the answer of how to escape from the torture that is the Amazing Digital Circus, being that.
Oh, come on. No, forget I can't skip this one.
I would recommend TurboTax.
I cannot skip this one. Oh, I still on 6 seconds. Oh well. No lag. No lag too. I get through, man. Please don't let me skip this one. Okay, I can. I'm gonna get outside pizza.
Fresh, never frozen, original dough made from
myself
6 simple ingredients. Get 2 medium pizzas for $6.
Alright.
There is no answer. There is no escape. And honestly, that gives me a lot of complicated emotions. Like, on the face of things, that's a fascinating way to take this story. And Gooseworks and Glitch should tell the story that they want to. But it's also a bit disappointing as someone who likes there to be answers, that likes to be able to solve a mystery as it's being laid out. But what I believe we also need to consider here actually comes from a final influence on the story of the Amazing Digital Circus. Circus. One that I don't believe Gooseworks has directly pointed to, but that is still clear. The play Waiting for Godot by Samuel Beckett. I promise this is relevant. If you're not super well versed on absurdist comedy and theater, Waiting for Godot is the story of two men waiting beside a tree for a mysterious figure known as Godot. The pair never actually go anywhere, and Godot also never arrives, despite the belief that he'll be here tomorrow. The play ends almost exactly where it began, with the two men still standing and still waiting. Now, that might sound pretty frustrating as an audience member, and believe me, this play can be really divisive for regular theater goers, but if you take a step back and understand what Beckett was going for with this story, things become a bit clearer. Another way to pronounce this title is Waiting for God-O. It's a religious allegory. It's saying that God is not going to magically come in and save you, and you need to make the best of what you have. And that is the theme of The Amazing Digital Circus. These characters are in a terrible, horrible situation, and for them, a real escape probably isn't going to be finding a literal door that leads to the outside world. I mean, they had an entire episode of the show shutting down that idea. No, the real escape is going to be a change in mindset to survive their new reality. And the conclusion that I've come to after spending months thinking about this series and trying to theorize our way out of this show, out of the problems that it's laid out before us, as a fandom, that's leaving us just as trapped as the characters in the circus itself. Like, think
I
of
guess
it
that
this
makes
way.
sense.
The Amazing Digital Circus is a series that just did not go the way that we expected, that I expected. It seems like there's no real, true means of escape here. As we've said, there isn't an answer, which can feel disappointing. Who doesn't love to feel like they've solved a puzzle? And I mean, we're theorists. We like to look at story beats and predict what comes next. We love closure, and a lot of the time we yearn for that happy ending. But that just isn't the story that Gooseworks and Glitch seem to want to tell here. Have you heard the term death of the author before? It's the idea that when a work of art is released out into the wild, what the author intended it to mean doesn't actually matter all that much anymore. You can agree or disagree with that. I see both arguments, though personally I agree with it more than I don't. But that doesn't apply when the work is still being made. When it's still being written. The author isn't dead until they actually make the art. And what Gooseworks and Glitch are still making with The Amazing Digital Circus is what goes right now. They have that final say. Now, let me be clear. That is not to say stop theorizing. We should never stop looking at the world from new angles. But when it comes to a fictional world like this, that shouldn't be an excuse to go after a creator just because the theories about their work didn't pan out, or the story didn't go in a direction you wanted, or the character you wanted to be the main one isn't the main one. I don't want us, both the loyal theorist community and any online community that loves overthinking media like this, to get trapped here. I don't want us to be like these characters, searching for an exit where there isn't one. This show might never give us the answers we want, and you shouldn't be upset about that. Trying to find a way out, or waiting for the voice of God to come in and fix everything to be exactly like we want it to be, when that isn't what they're even trying to do. And hey, I mean, while I like to be right, I'm also okay being wrong. That's why I'm cool writing this theory before an episode comes out and releasing it 2 days later. Like, dog, do you know how scary that can be? And well, I mean, hey, if you ever do want the story to go in a different direction, we can always write fan fiction. But hey, that's just a theory.
Not
a film theory. And cut. Up next on Film Theory, Gangle and Zubul from The Amazing Digital Circus are more than meets the eye.
A fanfic, I'm gonna say, geez, my brain's working. Yeah, so I was on it, and I was scared. Let's get away to a lot doing this yeah, this video. So I tried to find out talking about him. I get all probably gonna my voice. I'm just gonna close the eyes tag. It's being annoying. There we go. After this TV, after the Cleveland says the first base was same as they pick it up. The Togedo's club is still up against space. Anyways, I'm gonna review the first things. I think I will one more time. So y'all remember. The first thing I want to do is go check out. I believe the link to it is good. Go check my reaction share I did last night to mention this. Look at us 8 on the crew business channel. The thing I want to do is Greg Gooseworks if King's Curse was by Monica's character for Doki Little Club. The first thing I want to do is like if you're in the fourth and last thing I'm going to do is subscribe to the channel. Y'all be good. I'm a sponsor. Again, it's the first thing for me. I will leave a link. I think it goes with his Tumblr. Maybe we can see that's where you can ask them stuff. So, yeah. So y'all can ask. Then that question for me about a case coach because I beat only 9 so that case coach was inspired by my case coach from Douglas Douglas Club. So yeah. Anyways, y'all, great to stay. And we'll talk to you again very soon. Deuces.